This is Tech in the Car, and I've got the CUPRA Formentor.
I'm going to take the base model for a drive. I'm going to take the 310 horsepower for a drive. I'm going to take the e-hybrid for a drive, and I'm going to compare them and tell you what I think. Give this a like if you find it useful, subscribe for more.
The CUPRA Formentor was the first model that CUPRA designed that wasn't based on a pre-existing Seat model, and so is totally new.
On the left here we have the e-hybrid 1.4 204 horsepower model, and on the right here we have the top of the range model with the very beautiful blue paint. This car is the entry point, and it's a really good trim. CUPRA make sure that all the hardware inside is the same, so we've got a fantastic 12-inch massive touchscreen in front of me, which I really like. Really clear, really high resolution. It has wireless Android Auto and wireless CarPlay as well as standard, and we've got a 10-inch digital instrument cluster in front as well. That means that I've got all of the comfort and convenience that I could want in a car. So what are the differences between the cars? That comes down probably mostly to the driving, and that's what I'm going to find out today. Is a 150 PS all you need, or do you want to go for a more powerful or hybrid spec of the Formentor? My impressions driving this car are it's really comfortable. It's got a good viewing position. I can see the road really clearly. I'm high up. Yeah, I also feel sporty. Even though these aren't the sports seats in this car, they still feel really comfortable. The car feels really comfortable. The steering wheel is a really cool looking steering wheel, and just overall this car just feels really comfortable. When I put my foot down, I get enough push from that 150 horsepower engine for it not to be a concern at all. I'm happily driving this along here, and you know, I'm struggling to think of any reason not to say this is a fantastic value car. And I've only driven this one so far. Wait until I get into even faster models. But I mean, this has got enough speed, it's got enough comfort, it's got enough technology. The dashboard, the stitching, it just looks really high class. And CUPRA has been something which has really interested me and excited me since I've started this channel, because they've got a lot of interesting things going on, and I'm really happy to be able to bring you this comparison today for the channel. Now we're looking at the CUPRA Formentor 1.4 e-hybrid V2, 204 horsepower engine, 330 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 60 in 7.8 seconds, and this is indeed a hybrid, which means that it's got a 12.8 kilowatt hour usable battery. You can see it looks pretty much identical to the 310 horsepower model, other than the paint. The wheels are the same. It's got a charging door on the side here. Same aggressive design down the back. Let's get driving in the 204 horsepower CUPRA Formentor. This car is very smooth. It definitely feels smoother to me than the 150 horsepower petrol engine. Lower speed, say up to 30, it feels very similar in terms of get up and go as the 310 horsepower range topper. And interior wise, it's very similar to all the other models as well. Same hardware inside. Wherever you go, you're helping the environment, and also, let's be honest, you're saving some money with petrol, and prices of fuel have gone up a lot recently, and I think everybody's feeling it in their pocket. So it's nice to have a car which gives you some electric range, and you can plug in if you want to, and if you don't want to, then you can just use a petrol engine just like any other model. Being a hybrid, you can hear the little electric whirring of the motor as you get going. I do like the whir of an electric motor. It sounds cool. But you know, overall, it feels very similar to the other cars. I think if you live in a town and you're not going to necessarily always be driving long distances, then get the hybrid, because this car is fantastic. It's got all of the other benefits of the other car and the other trim levels in this Formentor range. But the difference is you're not using that petrol, as I've already said. So get a hybrid. If you want the power, get the 310 horsepower range topper. And if you're not bothered about the power and you want to get the most fantastic value for money Formentor that you can, then get the 150 horsepower. This is a CUPRA Formentor 2-litre TSI VZ2 310 horsepower forward drive DSG. So this is the top range model. You can see this really aggressive front grille down here. You can see the driver assistance radar down there. You can see the really cool inlets, the traditional Seat and now CUPRA lights, which look very, very cool. This has particularly attractive alloy wheels. I really like how they look. They look very, very good indeed. I've jumped into the 310 PS, so 310 horsepower Formentor, which has got the four-wheel drive system. Immediately when I started it up, there was a deep growl coming out of it, which was unexpected and very pleasant. And this has a really deep growl, even though it's got a 2-litre engine, it sounds really, really bassy. Immediately, differences in this car start with the interior. Obviously, there's the sport seats, which are beautifully designed, leather. The steering wheel on this car has got the start button and the CUPRA button. I'm in CUPRA mode now as I'm driving around, and you can definitely feel the push from the engine being more powerful. It definitely makes more noise. Definitely getting some looks here. And I'm driving along, and it just feels very comfortable, very refined. These are actually really good roads where we are. There are not a lot of holes in them compared to where I live. So these are really smooth roads. You can tell that's why they have a car driving event on these roads. But I can also tell that the suspension on this car, even though this is the sportiest model, is really good, and it will go over bumps and holes in the road like they're not there, which is really, really what you want in any car. This car as spec is £42,240. It's got this beautiful matte blue paint, which looks sensational, although you wouldn't want to get any scratches on the paint because that would be incredibly difficult to repair. It's a £1,800 option. Matte paint is always an expensive option, but it's an awesome option. It looks amazing. Interior wise, there are differences between this model and the base model. It's got these beautiful bronze flourishes on the inside. Obviously, it's got the more powerful engine. It's got this much, much more exciting looking steering wheel with the start button and the CUPRA button on here, which is really, really cool. But overall, you can tell it's the same car. Absolutely, you can tell it's the same car. It's the same 12-inch touchscreen. It has the same 10-inch digital instrument cluster. It's got all of that is exactly the same. It's just the material is being taken up a notch, as you would expect. In terms of how it drives, how it feels, obviously it feels a lot more responsive than the 150 horsepower engine, which is to be expected because it's double the power. But in terms of how it drives, you can tell it's the same car. It's from the same family. Let's put my foot down and see how it responds. So it makes a nice noise. It's responding really, really well. Don't worry, I'm not breaking the speed limit. We're in the country and there's a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit, and it feels really, really nice to drive. These cars are very similar on the inside. They have the same 12-inch touchscreen. They have the same 10-inch digital instrument cluster. There's just some differences between the sports seats and not sports seats, the matte paint, or whether you want standard paint, and the alloy wheel sizes. If you buy the 150 horsepower model, you still get an amazing car which looks identical to the other models. In fact, you can see here, they are exactly the same. Even with a more sporty model, they have exactly the same grills, exactly the same lights. They're the same. The only differences are with the alloy wheels and the interior. So no matter what model you get, you're going to get a really awesome car with all the latest technology and all the latest safety features, which you can really, really enjoy driving and be really, really proud of.